There was a time in 2018 that every single person on Facebook was obsessed with fucking monkey shoulder.
Yeah, that's true. And if you didn't do like a monkey shoulder video, you were missing out because it would have like thousands and thousands of views.
Hey, welcome to Super Social Club. I'm Jeremy.
This is Whiskey in the 6, I'm Rob.
Welcome to the Whisky Rant Podcast.
It's a little crusty,
It's frustrating.
and it's going to be a little bit of a rant.
I don't understand it. I don't know why.
Some sort of injustice.
Anyway, end rant.
Hello and welcome back to the Whisky Rant Podcast. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Rob.
Tonight, from popular demand, we're doing underrated, underpriced whiskeys, a follow-up to our overrated, overpriced.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We had a great response.
Yeah.
A lot of people watched it. A lot of people commented. A lot of people shared their thoughts. It's a topic that hits home for everybody.
Yeah.
Because everybody has a story about something they purchased that they're so angry at how disappointed they were when they opened that bottle.
Yeah.
Everybody has that story.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of people can relate to that. This is the flip side to that.
Yeah, flip side to that. A bottle that was just opened that we will definitely not be disappointed with.
No.
Our main boy, P-Boss, recently had a
Silent Bob.
milestone birthday, and he's like, I'm going to open up this Balvenie Ton 1401 Batch 8. Legit one of the best, if not the best, NAS whiskeys of all time, these Balvenie Ton series. If you're unaware, something that is actually like good should be on our list of like underrated, underpriced. I don't know if it's like underrated, but like at the time, these things retail for like what, 400, 500 USD.
Yeah, they were well priced considering what I'm about to share. So
read the stats of this thing.
Guess what the youngest stuff in this bottle is?
20.
Yeah, 22.
Yeah.
And the oldest stuff in this bottle is 43, and there's several casks that are in the 40s.
Yeah.
There's only one cask that's in the 20s. The rest are either 31 or older.
Wow.
So just a really quick run through here. It goes back to like 1970. 1970 is the earliest cask.
Yeah.
And then the most recent cask is the 1991.
So if you took like an average age of all the casks, what are we looking at? Like 33?
Higher, because
35?
you have, so it's 22, 31, 32 are the youngest.
Yeah.
Then 35, 37, 38. There's 40, 41, 43, 42, 43 again.
Wow.
And then the 3 sherry butts that make up the color, because the rest are bourbon hogsheads.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 sherry butts are 40, 42, and 43 years old.
Damn. Yeah, I mean...
So think about what the value of that.
Yeah.
Like, what's the average 40-year-old go for right now?
5,000.
Right? Like, about that. Like,
yeah.
I mean, you can get the one-offs that are a little bit... Like, I think at the LCBO, the Ben Romick 40 is probably around 5,000. But
yeah, 4 to 5,000, I think.
Yeah,
is
you can get it elsewhere for cheaper, but still.
Yeah, and I think we should explain ourselves with this list. Something can be good value even if it is very expensive.
Exactly.
Like, obviously, this has incredibly old whiskey in it. Yes, it's a very expensive bottle at the time, but in retrospect, these were amazing value for what you're getting.
Yeah, like, look what Macallan charges for the M, which was probably... I would like to believe, at least, that there's at least as old stuff in the M as there is in this Balvenie Ton.
You think?
I would hope. Because they're charging up to $10,000.
Is that what it is?
It's $10,000. So that's a no-age statement that's absolutely absurd in price, but you would think this is like, it's apples to apples probably, because that's probably what these guys have in,
Yeah, this Balvenie Ton is coming in at 50.2 ABV. I think it was rumored that maybe like, even some of the stuff was like under proof barrels, right, that dip below 40%. That's why they had to blend them into stuff that was higher so they could actually barrel it and bottle it as a whiskey.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah, the best like NAS whiskeys of all time, these tons. We've tried a few.
We've had a couple.
Batches, 6. This is 8.
Which one did Richard send us?
4 maybe.
He sent us a crazy one too. And for whatever reason, these ones, the 1401s are always better than the 1509s.
Yeah. Yeah, because they used up all the good casts on this series.
All the older stuff goes into the
Yeah.
1401s.
Yeah, check malt reviews. I think they reviewed maybe a batch or two of this. I think maybe they said that batch 3 was their favorite. I can't really be sure, but they're all within a few points of each other.
I think
they're
they said
all
batch
phenomenal.
3, and then this is their second favorite.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, some were like U.S. exclusive, some were UK exclusives. Not really sure. This one is a UK. No, it's a 70 CL.
Probably.
I can't remember. Anyway.
Yeah, 50.2%. Average age, according to our boy P-Boss, is 37 years old.
Yeah, 37. So imagine getting a 37-year-old Scotch back when these came out
$500
for around 500 US.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the absolute buys of the century.
So-
I wish we had more whereabouts when these were coming out to scoop more. I
know.
I had a couple.
Like, yeah, that's a lot of money, but still, it's like one of those things where you look back and you're like,
You look back and you're like, man, like
bought a case.
that was a lot. But honestly, in today's landscape, you're laughing
Right.
with these. Current auction price, as I just mentioned, around 800 to 900 British pounds if
British
you want this
pounds.
batch.
Yeah.
For this batch.
Let's get into our list because I'm not going to take a sip just yet. The nose is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I can nose this for hours.
This is one of those bottles. Like, it's been open for already at least 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of those So Balvenie is the only whiskey that I've ever had that I could nail on the head if I have an older Balvenie.
Yeah.
Because it's such a distinct, like, whatever that honey tea combination note is,
Mm-hmm.
it's so distinct that it's like, I did nail it in a blind that time we did with the blind that Richard sent us. But
Oh,
it's,
yeah, that's
it's
right, you
very
did.
identifiable.
Yeah.
It's got this gorgeous nose. Anyway, I'm gonna start with the underrated, underpriced list. I guess we'll do it like the way we did the overrated, overpriced. I do one, you do one.
Fire away.
All right. So I'm gonna start with a knock.
Okay. Yeah.
So a knock, 12-year-old. I'm not sure what it goes for globally, but I know that I can buy this right now at BSW for $54.
Underpriced, you're saying this is?
Underpriced, underrated too.
Yeah.
It's a great like entry level pour and play kind of whiskey.
Yeah.
And then its older brother, the 18-year-old, is $130 at BSW right now.
Yeah. I think that 18 is... I don't think I've actually ever had the 12. I've never owned one. I'm not sure if I've sampled it over here, maybe.
Yeah. The 12 I had a long, long time ago. It's the bottle that got me into whiskey.
Yeah.
It's the bottle that got me into Scotch.
Yeah. Nice.
So you're going to hear me talking a lot about BSW pricing in this video because honestly, right now their sale prices are probably some of the best in the entire world. And I'll leave a link below in the description, but I'm going to go through each price and I will be mentioning BSW quite often tonight.
You can even talk about a Knock 24 as being underpriced for the age statement, for the quality, for what you're
Absolutely.
getting. I mean, what were you paying for those 24s? They were
around 2 something.
right, 2 and change.
Yeah, somewhere like depending on when we were getting them just under 2 or up to or like maybe 220 tops.
Yeah, I think that's a no-brainer underpriced whiskey.
For sure. Anything in the Enoch line is underpriced. It's still very underrated for whatever reason. People don't understand the quality of Enoch yet. I guess not enough people have tried it. Maybe it's not a sexy enough bottle, a sexy enough name.
Yeah,
Right?
it's off the beaten path of what you would see normally in the mainstream Scotch aisles.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those that's kind of you gotta pull the curtain back to kind of see what it is and how good it is.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, what have I got? Let's see. Oh yeah, I think that this one is like the ultimate underrated, underpriced. I actually brought the bottle, but it's the Edradour 10-year-old, the Signatory Vintage, unchill filtered collection. It's single cask at 10 years old, 46%. It's absolutely amazing sherried whiskey.
Yep.
Prices around 100 to 120 Canadian or so.
Yep.
I think it's absolutely glorious. I've talked about it before. We've talked about it before, but it just doesn't get that much recognition. I feel like people aren't talking about it, aren't reviewing it. It's a single cask, so it's kind of hard to review because I'm sure they're specific to regions. But
Yeah.
so good, man. So good.
Signatory has a bunch of really well priced things.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, every once in a while you'll get something that's maybe a little bit like crazy in price for no reason at all. But for the most part, Signatory has a bunch of stuff that's actually really well priced. They have a 12-year-old actually Macallan, which is like 48% or something like that for $120.
Yeah, I think they bottle like a decent amount of Edgedour, and I think they do a great job of it all every time.
I'm very curious actually about that Macallan 12-year-old, because just as a head-to-head, it would be a cool, interesting take to see what that stacks up like against the actual original bottling.
Yeah.
Yeah, Signatory, Edgedour, good pick. All right, I'm going to go next with Glenallachie. I mean, we've sung their praises for years. You can go to the Miko Tour line, in my opinion, is still a great value at like around $90 for all the Miko Tour stuff. But specifically Glenallachie 12, you can find it right now, $80 on sale at BSW. Glenallachie 15, $115, $115 at BSW right now. So like, I think some people are probably like, well, at the LCBO it's about $160 the Glenallachie 15.
Yeah.
But in Alberta, you can still get it at a great price.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I've actually recently bought a couple more because they were $80 or $79.
For the 12?
Yeah, $79.99. I'm like, that is an amazing price for that.
Yeah, and really when you're comparing it to like similar 12-year-old whiskeys, I think it blows them away for the most part.
Yeah, I
it's
think
one
so.
of the best 12-year-olds.
If you're looking even like the sherry category of whiskeys, like stuff that has a lot of sherry influence in it, I mean, for the price, I don't think you're beating it.
No, it's very hard.
Right?
It's very hard. It's one of those that like it's worth stocking up on. I stocked up on the 15 when I got it at a like crazy good price. Again, it's at a crazy good price now.
Yeah.
I wonder what's going to happen with Glenallachie when the new label starts to take over shelves. Because like right now, you still have a lot of that older stock of like the older label.
Yeah.
And that could be why a lot of this stuff is going on sale. So it might be a good time to stock up.
Yeah, and I mean, I bought one of the newer label ones, so it'd be interesting to crack that and kind of do a head-to-head, see if anything's changed. You wouldn't think that the whiskey has changed because the label has.
Yeah.
But maybe that's a good blind.
That would be a good
new label versus old label.
Yeah.
Blind test. Is there a difference? And if there is, how is it different?
Yeah, I have the new label 18 up there. And I would say there's a significant difference. I think the one that's changed the most is the 18.
Okay.
Because when I first bought an 18, it was pale. It was super pale, like looked like it was just bourbon cask.
Yeah.
The second batch I bought, a lot darker.
Yeah.
This batch is the darkest. So it seemed like it just took a little while for the 18 to really take on the recasking from Billy Walker.
Sure.
Right. What's your next pick?
All right, so next one, I have one that's underpriced. It's definitely not underrated because people rate this thing huge and they love it. They absolutely love it. It's the Bunnahabhain 12 cask strength.
Nice.
I was just looking up prices. In the U.S., you can get this for $100. I saw one for $99.99. For that price, for that whiskey, it's underpriced, man. It is so good, and I wish it was in this market because I would have a case at that price.
Yeah.
I am going down to the U.S. Soon, and I'm going to be searching one of those out and bringing it back because for $100 U.S., hell yeah, man, I'm all day, every day on that.
100%. Silent Bob and I were talking about that at work today. That exact bottle.
Yeah.
And it was going to be on my list as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ended up putting it on, but we're also wondering why it hasn't come to Canada yet. Why? Why isn't it here?
That's a great question.
Like, it doesn't actually make sense why we don't have it. We have everything else from Bunnahabhain. Why don't we have the cask strength?
It's a great question, and it needs to be answered. And everyone that is an importer in Canada should be like, yeah, why don't we have that? Let's get on that.
Let's get on that.
Thank you.
Great pick. Okay, I'm going to go to an Irish whiskey now because the cost of Irish whiskey is going crazy, in my opinion. They're like, you find Bushmill, and like, I wouldn't say Bushmill is necessarily overpriced, but you're getting only 40% expressions out of Bushmill. So right now you can get the Redbreast 15, which is a 46% expression, for $109 at
Ooh.
BSW.
Really?
$109, which
love
is worth
that.
stocking up on,
Yeah.
in my opinion, because it's a sale price, but what does the average Redbreast 15 go for? Probably around 150 at least, right?
I don't know what the LCBO had it at, but I remember when I did the Redbreast lineup, I think I quoted a US price and it was like 110 US,
Okay.
which now
So-
would be 150 Canadian, right?
Yeah, and now they just released like what the pricing is going to be like for the Redbreast 18, which is $400. So like buy the 15 while you can.
Why is that? That's
for 3
insane,
extra
dude.
years. You get, like, it's
Triple it.
triple.
Yeah.
And then the Redbreast 12 cash strength, which is still an incredible buy at $112 without a sale. But if you use my promo code, Sixers23, it'll be in the description below. You get 10% off BSW for
Nice.
that, because it's a regular price item.
Yeah.
Redbreast 12 cash strength at 120. So even at 120, it's fair.
Yeah.
I think for a cash strength Redbreast 12.
Yeah.
But 10% off of that, that's pretty good.
I just took a sip of this ton, and
Did
my
you?
goodness.
Yeah, I guess we should start talking about this.
Dude, like the candied fruits you get in this that complement that like nice candied honey.
That's a great point. It's like candy. There's like candied oranges in there.
Yes. Yeah. Candy citrus. The vanillas and the honeys are like nothing you've had before. And I am getting like a little bit of that like tea kind of note too that you kind of get with older whiskeys. Yeah, it's like it's very sherry influenced, but it is blended well with those other casks, right? Because like we're looking at 3 sherry butts and 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 traditional casks, ex-bourbon, right? So it's like a 3-to-1 ex-bourbon, but you do get like so much sherry influences.
it's
I mean, look at
crazy.
the color of it; it's super dark, right?
It's absolutely insane how influential those sherry casks are in this expression.
Yeah,
Because there's only 3.
right.
Honestly, I can honestly say, having tried a couple Balvenie tons that are old like this, and some other stuff like old Balvenie, that when Balvenie is old, there's not many distilleries that are as good as these guys. They're just
Yeah,
they
and
do
like
it,
we've had old Glen Grants, but like I would take old Balvenie over old Glen Grant.
right. Like
Yeah,
this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is like one of the better whiskeys I've tried in a long
I was just
time.
gonna say this is one of the best whiskeys I've tried in a very long time.
Maybe like this could easily crack the top 10.
Yes, I would think so.
Like-
I mean, if you eliminate like the stupid ones that we've had, like the stuff that we've actually owned.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
100%. Yeah, you can't include the 80-year-olds
Sure.
and the 72-year-olds.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
But bottles that like we've actually had like on this table,
Yes.
this has got to be up there,
Bottles that at some point we could have actually afforded.
right?
Right? Like
Yeah.
seriously though.
Yeah.
Like the next step up from this is a $50,000 whiskey that we try. You know what I mean? Like that's
Sure.
So yeah, obviously, but my God, that's good. That is insane.
It's so good. Okay, I'm gonna name one that I think is underrated. I don't think it's underpriced because actually it's not underpriced. It's actually probably overpriced, and that's probably why it is underrated because not too many people buy it, not too many people talk about it. But we just did a whole Lagavulin rundown. We've talked about Lagavulin a lot, but how about the Lagavulin Distillers Edition? It's one that doesn't get talked about, but I absolutely love that whiskey. I think it's so good. It's essentially like a PX finish on like their 16-year-old. I think it's NAS, but I think it's like around that age
it used
or so.
to be 16 years old.
Okay, yeah. So I think they dropped the age statement,
maybe
so
they
it's
dropped
probably
the age statement now, but
it's
it
probably
used to
just
be
under
vintage.
50. Okay,
Yeah.
so it might just be under 16. Like I said, PX finish. It's only 43, but it still drinks like so good. And I'm someone who doesn't always love sherry with peat, but I do in this one.
Yeah.
And I think it's awesome. I've only actually owned two bottles. I haven't had like a newer Distillers Edition, but I heard they're still like really good quality stuff, and I think it's super underrated. I don't think too many people talk about it. Rob is slowly enjoying the Balvenie.
I can't, honestly. We haven't had something this good in a long time. It's been too long.
There's a note that I'm trying to grasp it and I just can't. That's probably going to be a common thing in this.
I don't do a very good job of describing what that taste is that's so distinct in Balvenie when it's old. But it is so distinct, and it's absolutely delicious. I absolutely love it.
You know what you don't really like taste is like oak. Maybe a subtleness, but
The oak comes in as like effervescent, like freshness.
right?
There's something so fresh about
There's
it.
no dank oak
No,
note.
I don't get how they like. It's almost like, you know that sensation you get when you chew like spearmint gum, or
Yeah.
like that's kind of the,
Like it kind of
the sensation that's left on my palate.
Explodes your palate, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I don't know why. Like I can't describe why.
Yeah.
I guess like on the finish is like a spearmint kind of gum, like maybe not spearmint, but like one of those like gums that are really like, it could even be like cinnamon dentine, like on the finish, like that finish. I don't know, something like that. Cinnamon, honey, orange peel.
This whiskey is too complex for our baby palates. What
Okay,
else you
my
got?
next one is Craigellachie 13 and 17. We've talked, almost exhaustively of the 17 and how it's $100 and
Yeah.
how it's great value.
Mm-hmm.
Again, $100 at BSW. The 13 is $55 at BSW.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's other stores in Alberta that have them for around these prices too, so I'm not discriminating. I know that you can go right now to that website and fill your cart and not actually feel too bad about it because you're getting a lot of great deals.
Yeah, and I'm actually I'm going to have a Craigellachie 13 review coming out soon, kind of comparing it to the 17 as well. But yeah, great value for both those bottles currently.
Is there a better bottle at around $50 than that?
Yeah, I mean, I think for $50, like you don't have much competition.
There was
in
a
the
time where it was $49.99.
In the $50 mark right now, I don't
Yeah.
think you have much competition.
No,
really.
you don't.
I'm trying to think
it's
of
that
anything.
13-year-old, 46%. Like,
Yeah, I'm trying to think
hits
of
all the,
anything that price.
No, there's nothing.
Right. Okay.
The closest thing, actually, the LCBO has a great price, and I'm going to talk about that in just a sec. Oh, you know what? I'll wait. I'll talk about it later. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Double up, because I only got a couple more. So go ahead.
So Ben Romick, 10-year-old, at the LCBO is $70,
70.
which is a great deal.
Yeah.
The 15-year-old, I think, still is globally the best price at the LCBO at $120.
Yeah, that's good. And that was going to be on my list as well.
They're both so good. They're both great value. If you want to head over to Alberta, you can get the cash strength for under $100, the 10-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
All the contrast series from Ben Romick is like in the $80 to $90 range.
Yeah.
And all those are usually at least 10 years old. The most recent one was like 12 years old.
Yep.
So you're getting age-stated, great whiskeys at super affordable pricing.
Mm-hmm.
The owners of Ben Romick and all the, sister companies, which I'm actually going to mention another one after this, so I don't want to give it away just yet, but just incredible people, and they really care about their consumer, and that's why they keep their prices so low.
Yeah, I'll just add to that is like one that I have on the list was the Balvenie, the Ben Romick, the vintage cast strengths. Really, really good stuff. I think they're underpriced.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're underrated. I think a lot of people talk about them, how they're amazing, how they're the stuff that they
I
would
agree with that, yeah.
Yeah, they did stuff. If they were going to pick a Ben Romick, they'd probably pick that one if they had to choose for the price and for the quality that you're getting. I have one that I just got. I want to say it's a 2013 vintage batch 1, I think. Anyway, I posted it on the Instagram and like, oh yeah, man, like that one is 100% sherry cast. It's all sherry cast influence, and it is delicious, man. It is really, really good stuff. So definitely underpriced.
The batch, I think it was the cask strength batch 13, right?
2013.
Are you talking the Benrama cask strengths?
Yes,
They do like maybe it's 2013.
it's a vintage year, and then it's a
You're
batch.
right. It's 2013.
Batch 1 of 2013 vintage. Yeah.
You know what else you can buy at BSW from Benrama?
Huh.
Our cask.
Oh yeah.
There's
Is
a
it
little
still
bit
there?
There's a little bit left of the Whiskey Rant cask.
Oh man, the Whiskey Rant cask is a gem.
They just restocked it.
You know what's cool? That they're actually pouring that at the BC Whiskey Festival.
I saw
or
that. Yeah.
Was it Vancouver Whiskey Festival?
Yeah, a few people tagged us in it.
That's kind of cool.
That was really cool.
That they're pouring it there.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah. My turn.
Yeah, your turn.
All right, I'm gonna go back to Lagavulin. Lagavulin 8. I've talked about it so many times.
Yeah.
I won't talk about it too much. 48% ABV. I like it better than the Offerman stuff. $60 US.
Yeah.
It's underpriced. I think it is one of the better entry level Isle of Scotches you can possibly get. I put it up against the Ardbeg 10 and the Lefroy Quarter Cask, and I chose it over both of those two. I just think it's amazing, and it's the best value Lagavulin you can get.
Yeah. It wasn't on my list, but you mentioned it, so I'll kind of piggyback off of that. The Lefroy Quarter Cask is like in a lot of places a really, really good deal though.
Mm-hmm.
You can get that for very reasonably priced.
And that's 48% as well.
It's 48%,
Yeah.
and then their cask strength, the Lefroy 10 cask strength, is always like a reasonable price as well.
Yeah.
At around $100 to $120,
Mm-hmm.
and also really, really good every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that wasn't on my list, but because you mentioned it, I thought I'd throw that in there. We're being a little bit repetitive tonight because it's hard to do this list without doing that, because the people that are jacking up the prices tend to be the same distilleries all the time, and the people that are giving a valuable, well-priced product
Mm-hmm.
are always the same people too.
Right.
And Gordon MacPhail is probably for me at the top of the list.
Yes.
Because if you're looking for something young, you can get something young and affordable. If you're looking for something, in the 15 to 20 range, you can get cask strength versions of all kinds of distilleries at very, very good prices.
Yep.
Some of the cheapest 20 to 28-year-old whiskeys you will find on the planet.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
By far. I think there's like a Glen Cadam 28-year-old that's under $400
Mm-hmm.
at BSW or something like that.
Yeah.
It's in and around that. Like 28 years old. You know what I mean? Like cask strength 28-year-old Glen Cadam for like, I think it's, if I might be wrong about that. I think it might be like 4 or something.
Either way, it's way less than any official bottling distillery at that age.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you've had some amazing ones. What's the ones up here that I always keep talking about? Glen Scotia.
So there's a Glen Scotia,
and
Kalila. There's a
the
Kalila
Kalila and the Glen Scotia are how old?
The Glen Scotia is a 22 and the Kalila is a 23.
Yeah. And how much did you pay for those roughly?
They were both under 4. They're both like
they're
probably
$350 range.
I would say even under 350.
Yeah. And worth every penny.
Yeah.
Really, really good whiskeys. And yes, huge ages for, very well priced money. Anything you're buying officially from Kalila, what's the Kalila 25? I don't even know how much it is. It's over 700.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
We bought it when it was 700, didn't we?
Yeah, it was. I think we grabbed the 30, and it was it was an older bottling, and we got it at a Steel in Alberta, and this was 8 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
probably, or 7 years ago. But yeah, it was more than that for sure. There's the G&M 25-year-old Kalila right now that's out there, and apparently it's really, really good. First fill sherry cask, around I want to say around 450.
Yeah.
So I mean, no, it was. I'm butchering these prices. Let me just quickly double check that.
While you're checking that price, I'll just fire off one that we've talked about a lot before. It was my whiskey of the year a couple of years ago. Compass Box Orchard House. Absolutely amazing whiskey. Super fruity, orchard fruit. It's great to drink on a hot day. 46%, and what is it, $60.
Yeah, and you can find it for less than that even.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great for the price.
Okay, so I butchered those prices, and I apologize, but the actual prices of a lot of these are... So right now there's a G&M Glenbergie 26-year-old for $315.
Mm-hmm.
$315 for a cask strength Glenbergie. A 17-year-old Scapa for $185 cask strength. A 20-year-old Craig Alecky for $210. And
A 20-year-old Craig Alecky.
20-year-old Craig Alecky, yeah.
Oh,
And then that I want to find that Kalila because it was very well priced when I saw it.
yeah, and that might even be worth like a rebuy. I think
There's an 18-year-old Kalila, 55.1%. Gordon MacPhail, $250. And then that 25-year-old is $435.
and even there is a sherry cask of a, what the hell was it? Kleinleash. Sherry cask Kleinleash. I think it was 11 years old. It might have been 14. Gordon MacPhail.
Yeah,
That was really good.
that was
That was
awesome.
like $120 or something.
It was cheap.
right?
It was cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, Gordon MacPhail, there's something for everybody. We talk about them all the time. And the scary part is, they've already stopped bottling or barreling whiskey for what, 2 years now?
Mm.
So I think it's time to start stocking up a
They
little
stopped
bit.
they stopped buying casks.
Stop buying casks. So,
Yeah.
not saying you heard it here first, but you're hearing it.
Yeah.
Start looking out for some Gordon MacPhail because they ain't gonna be around forever.
What else you got?
I think that's the cap. That's the end. I
Yeah.
mean, we can. There's one-offs in a lot of distilleries and a lot of but I don't want to go too in depth. That was pretty much all I had for that.
Are there any whiskeys that used to be underrated, underpriced that aren't anymore?
Well, I mean, Pappy Van Winkle was underrated, underpriced.
Weller. I just saw that like the LCBO had some Blantons for like $100 or $90 a bottle now.
Oh, really?
That thing's jacked up. It came with a free glass, but
Oh, wow, nice.
yeah, that thing's going crazy.
Um,
What about Abalur Abuna? Because that was always something that people were like, "That's a good price," but is it still the quality? Is it? And I think the price has gone up. I know it went up in the UK market like a couple years back, but that's probably one I think that might have made the list that won't now.
Yeah, it's gone up. It's gone up a little too far, I think, for not knowing how old of the liquid you're getting. You know what I mean? It might be a little bit too expensive.
Yeah.
I will say though that the 21-year-old at BSW again recently went on sale. I think 50% off for like $105.
Wow.
So it's like,
Yeah.
again, there was a bunch of whiskeys that I could have added like as a one-off, but I
Mhm.
wanted to go with distilleries that had multiple
Yeah.
that you can just go to, because a lot of people like to do that little flight, right? Like they like to start with the 12, try the 15 next, try the 18
Sure.
next, right?
Love a good flight.
When I started Whiskey in the Six, I always jumped the gun. I always went to like the older stuff first.
Mm.
I don't know why I did that. I probably shot myself in the foot, because I think people would have respected me more too if I started with the 12, went to the 15, then went to the 18, not just like overshot the 12 and 15 every single time and went straight to the 18 and 25. But then again, maybe I did that at the right time, because we're circling back now because of pricing. Back
Right.
then, 25s weren't
Yeah, I
what
mean,
they are now.
Sure, back then you could actually pay for a 21-year-old that you'd pay for a 15 now.
Yeah. I remember when like the Glen going 25-year-old was like $350.
Mm-hmm.
What is that now? $700? $700? I think the Bunnahabhain 25-year-old is now like $700 or $800. Whereas when we were buying that, it was in the low threes.
Yeah. I mean, I think at one point I might have said like Ardbeg Koi Reckon would be like underrated, underpriced.
Yep.
But now I think that the prices, like the U.S. market was always better on that, but I think now that's even jumped over there too.
Yeah, it's hard to say that the Corey or the Ubidal underrated now because like they went through like a craze. Where
I don't think they're
were
underrated. I think people overrated them, really.
Yeah, they went over. Yeah. It's like, what would you say? What would you say is a victim of being a well-priced whiskey that was just okay, that went absolutely insane in hype because of the price, and like maybe people weren't really aware of what else there was in the whiskey world?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you could name like any average bourbon, like Weller, right? Like that was just like a mixing whiskey that for $25 it's now in the secondary market for like $300 or something like that. Like Weller is stupid, Bland's is stupid.
Yep.
Those like.
What about Glen Scotia Victoriana?
Glen Scotia Victoriana.
Didn't that, like, remember when that went like everybody was like talking about Victoriana, how good it was? It was like the best whiskey to drink. Like all these bourbon people were converted by Glen Scotia Victoriana.
I feel like the chatter is died down on that. Big you know what was one that was crazy was Monkey Shoulder.
Monkey Shoulder.
Every fucking person in the world on Facebook was like, Monkey Shoulder is the absolute best Scotch whiskey in the world.
Yeah, like, why was that?
I don't know. Because it was Balvenie and Macallan.
No, wasn't it Balvenie and Glenfiddich?
Was it?
Yeah, because it's owned by that conglomerate.
Right. Yeah. So I think people just like heard that and they're like, this is the best thing ever. I think that it's very pedestrian. I don't know. Did they come up with the different versions of it? I've only tried it once, to be honest with you.
I don't even think I've actually tried it.
There was a time in 2018 that every single person on Facebook was obsessed with fucking Monkey Shoulder.
Yeah, that's true. And if you didn't do like a Monkey Shoulder video, you were missing out because it would have like thousands and thousands of views. But I never did it. I stayed strong.
There's probably lots of people with 12 cases of Monkey Shoulder they'll never ever drink.
Yeah, no, it's a mixer. It's a mixer. There's a lot of really good blends out there that are underrated just because they're blends.
Mm-hmm.
Compass box across the board. You know what I mean? A lot of blends get the shaft when it comes to being underrated. Like all that Lumreek stuff. Number one, Lumreek in general. Okay, that's owned by Glenallachie, whatever.
Yeah,
they are underrated. Simply because who names a whiskey Lumreek?
I'm sure it's Gaelic for something.
Yeah, but why? Why would you do that? It's a terrible name.
You don't want the word reek anywhere in your whiskey.
Nobody wants to hear the word reek anywhere near their food or drink.
Reek! That's a good name for you.
Okay. That's never a positive connotation.
Exactly.
How good is this whiskey, though?
I think this whiskey is phenomenal. And I love it.
It's a tough one to score.
I don't think it's tough to score. I know exactly what I'm scoring this thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm up there with the score on this one, man.
It's so good, man.
I'll let you go first.
It's just so good.
Are you gonna do it now?
Yeah. So I reviewed. I want to say I've reviewed batch 6, and I think I was either 92 or 93. And on this one, the first thing I thought was like, this is a 93. And that's like up there as probably one of the highest scores I've ever given. 95 is my highest score. I think I've given a couple 93s. I don't think I've ever given a 94. Can't remember. But yeah, this is like right there and like probably the top. It's top like, I don't know, 5 to 10 of scores I've ever given. 93.
So the whiskey that I gave a 95 based on my old scoring too was that Mortlock that we had. Give that a 95, and I would say that this maybe in a month could be better than that.
Yeah, that's
right?
true. Like this is
a fresh crack.
Yeah, this thing could get epic proportions.
It's a fresh crack. I'm gonna also go 93, but based on my old scoring, that would have been a 95. So I'm going to say that this is a 93 as well. Because I'm not sure it's better than that Mortlock. But it's freaking close.
Man, it is good.
And this is a fresh crack. I would love to have them head to head. I know one guy that still has that bottle. Maybe he'll crack it and we can do a head to head.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It's delicious. And honestly, I think this will end up being better, to be honest with you. Because there was one note in that Mortlock that I actually enjoyed, but a lot of people didn't love the oaky finish of that Mortlock. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this doesn't have any of that. There's like a little bit of like fresh, like rosewood kind of like flavor and scent to it.
I just got like Belgian waffle on the nose.
Nice.
Yeah, I get that too. Floral kind of essence.
Yeah, like there's I always bring up this reference when I'm talking about like a higher end whiskey, but when I went to Baja Mar in Bahamas, there's a section of Baja Mar. There's like the like regular Baja Mar, which is for people like me that are just regular people and like already spending too much to be there.
Right.
Then there's two other sections that are way more expensive, and one side was, I think it was called Rosewood, and it smelt of rosewood, and like it just smelled incredible.
Yeah.
And like it was like $10,000 a night to be on that side.
Wow.
And you could just walk through it to get to restaurants. That's what that smell
They just
and
like
taste
pump
reminds
out
me of.
fragrance as you walk in.
It smells like rosewood in there, and it's like ridiculous. That's what I get here.
You want to know what the tasting notes on the back of this? They're so pedestrian. Citrus fruit, vanilla, honey.
Come on, that's it.
That's what it says.
That's so easy.
I mean, you gotta respect it because they're like, we don't even care about telling you tasting notes on this, and like you read like
figure it out.
you read like Glendronach 12 tasting notes, and they're like super elaborate, and you're like, I don't think so. And then like Balvenie Ton is just like vanilla and honey.
But like, where is that attitude for their younger stuff? You know what I mean? Like, where is that confidence and like F you attitude for like their younger stuff? It could be so much better. I wish they did this. Like they are a shell of what they used to be.
Yeah, if you want a joke, read a Glendronach tasting notes. They're hilarious.
You can just imagine.
That's gonna do it for us. Let us know in the comments down below. Do you have an underrated or underpriced whiskey? Leave us in the comments down below.
Big thank you to P-Boss.
P-Boss, yes, sir. I mean, this thing is a treat, man.
Absolute treat.
Absolute treat.
And he was not stingy with his pours.
No, there's still plenty left, and we can enjoy this for another hour probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. That's it.
All right. Thanks so much
Cheers,
for
guys.
watching, guys. Much appreciated. Have a good one. Cheers.
Cheers.